Hi everyone, my name is Russ, and our hope for today is from 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verses 1 through 10, a passage that talks about our heavenly dwelling. We begin with a couple of thoughts about our earthly dwelling and these crazy times we find ourselves in. Over the past year, as my family and I have adjusted to life during the COVID-19 pandemic, I have learned many things that I had not expected to learn in the year 2020. To state the obvious, I've learned how to make a short video. And yes, the camera does add a few pounds and a few years to my appearance. My cooking skills have improved. Also, I have mastered Zoom and have learned how to conduct an online meeting. I've discovered the trick to wearing a mask without fogging up my glasses. And I know way more about cellular biology, messenger RNA, and how vaccines work to generate an immune response to keep us safe and healthy. My experience is probably not unique. And as we've learned to order our groceries online, or maybe even tested the limits of human endurance by binge watching our favorite television shows, I suggest that if we are honest with ourselves, we have stopped at least once to consider our own mortality and the limits of our lives this side of heaven. From a Christian perspective, these limits are good news. The Apostle Paul suggested that our earthly lives are like a tent, and when that tent wears out, we will have a house in heaven, an eternal body made for us by God Himself and not by human hands. Furthermore, Paul said that the time we spend in our earthly tents would be marked by groaning, but that there would be no more groaning when we are in our heavenly home. That's probably not a new insight. Most of us have been taught that heaven is a place where there is no suffering or sickness, no more COVID-19 and no mask mandate, and no need to stand 2 meters apart. When you get to heaven, you can give your loved ones a big hug. Likely, these are familiar insights. But what was new to me, reading this passage in the context of public health restriction, is that God has designed us to go through this mortal existence with all its challenges, heartbreaks, and joys, and to learn from our own mortality how to walk with Him. This would be impossible if it weren't for one very important fact: God has chosen to walk with us. Paul wrote to the church, "He who has prepared us for this very thing is God, who has given us the Spirit as a guarantee." And through the Spirit, God is present with us, ready to rejoice during happy times and to comfort when we are challenged. And because God is present with us in all we do, all we think, all we hope, and all we pray, I think it's a good idea to try to do some things that might bring pleasure and hope to God. As Paul says, "So whether we are at home with the Lord or away, we make it our aim to please Him." And this is our hope for today. It's both a message of hope, but also a call to action. God is with us even during these challenging times, and He is calling us to seek Him and to walk with Him, learning to do so in this time of mortal existence so that we will know what we are doing in eternity.